everybody, and welcome back to Godspeed TV. I am your host, Riley Roseby, your navigating guide through this AI-enabled paradigm shift. I am thrilled to be joined with Jason Krutsky. Jason, you are all over the meme coin market, but I know we've talked about this whole paradigm shift. Please kind of, maybe reintroduce yourself super quick. Like, who are you? What do you like to focus on? Just in case folks didn't catch our last episode, because that was what, maybe a couple months ago?
Yeah, it was a little while ago. Great to see you, Riley. Thanks for having me on. I'm Jason Krutsky. I am definitely squarely focused on memes, but I'm also just kind of squarely focused on like trends and where the future is headed. I think that's why you and I get along so well. We're always looking for kind of the next thing and the next play, and we're trying to skate to where the puck's going. So
That's right. That's right. So, gosh, this was probably what, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, somewhere in that ballpark. We were on a hike. We were talking about WorldCoin. WorldCoin had an absolute ripper. What was it, on Monday?
it did.
And we got some news. Dan Ives to become chair of company that will buy Sam Altman-backed WorldCoin for its treasury. Walk us through what kind of took place. I'm going to throw up the chart here of 8Co Holdings. What is 8Co? What is this whole news? We saw both 8Co had an incredible move. I mean, it was up multiples. What did you say it was, like
But
50,000%?
it was 5,500%.
Five
I
and a
mean, it
half
went
thousand percent.
went from a buck and a half to 70 or 80 or $90. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it went to, but yeah, you could see it on the chart there. Yeah, Octo is just the next in a what will I think be a very long line of digital asset treasuries. DATs are the new way for the street to get involved in crypto because they're mostly kind of inept, right? Like they don't know how to open up a Coinbase account and buy these tokens. They don't know how to get a MetaMask wallet and buy these tokens, and so they invest in these DATs. And that's what this is. It's no different than a MicroStrat. I mean, probably how they've got it like set up is perhaps a little different, but not too
They're
much
using
different from.
debt to buy crypto is essentially the
So
gist,
yeah, I
right?
mean, I think that they found this dead company and they've probably purchased it for some small amount of money because it's already listed. It's like easier. Um, and they got together a $270 million private placement to act as a WorldCoin treasury. So you got a bunch of companies. I've got a list here. Um, some of them I'm not familiar with, but Kraken's a big one. Pantera is a big name in the crypto investment space. Wedbush, obviously, and Bitmine. That's Tom Lee's ETH DAT is Bitmine. So you've got the master, or rather the MicroStrategy is your initial, the first big one, and then you've got this ETH one, Tom Lee's ETH one, and now you've got this one, this for WorldCoin. Apparently, they're going to be changing the ticker to Orbs,
We
which
love
is
that.
obviously pretty relevant.
Yeah, that is great. So let's maybe look at WorldCoin exclusively, kind of taking out this additional company here. WorldCoin had a big move, obviously. This seems to me just kind of validating Sam's vision for how personal authentication online is going to go down. One of the first things I said to you when we were talking about it yesterday, kind of prepping for the show, was like, it's interesting that they picked arguably the hottest name as far as a AI future tech focused analyst goes to kind of be the chair of this company. Do you think there's more to the story, or do you think it's just like, they were trying to get headlines, trying
No,
to get somebody on board that would carry some weight?
I don't think these guys, Dan Ives and Tom Lee, I don't think that they get. I don't know. I don't. They're important enough that yeah, their name carries weight, but I don't know that they would just like get behind any old thing just because. I mean, these guys are futurist tech aficionado professionals, right? Like
Mhm.
they are constantly searching for the next thing in tech, the next 10, 20, 30 year trend that they can just ride. And
When you right before we came on, you said something really interesting where one of these guys tweeted last week, kind
Oh
of
yeah, Tom
almost
Lee did.
foreshadowing the significance of this move. They didn't explicitly call out WorldCoin, but they kind of
He talked.
hinted at the importance of what WorldCoin
Yeah, he
could
talked
offer.
specifically about proof of human and
Mhm.
the importance of the tech. And yeah, I mean, it was to me, it was a bat signal. It
Mhm.
was like, yeah, okay, something's coming. I don't know
Something's
what, but
coming.
something's coming, and lo and
Yeah.
behold, this is what we get.
Is there anything else you want to share about WorldCoin at this point in time? Do you think it's kind of best to let the move that we saw earlier in the week just digest itself and see, do these levels hold? Do we get a crazy flush back to that $1 mark? Is there more here that you want to dive into, or is this kind of like, we got to continue to wait and see?
Yeah, you got to wait and see, but I mean, they did 5 billion in volume, 24-hour volume yesterday. The biggest volume by a long shot that WorldCoin has ever seen. And your chart here, you can't see it, but WorldCoin actually went to like $12 maybe a year ago.
Hmm.
So there is price history quite higher. Uh, I have the sense that this move was more like a power earnings gap, like a traditional stock power earnings gap. There is a fundamental shift in the perception of what WorldCoin could become. And yeah, I mean, if you see it at $1 again, I would be shocked. And if it gets back there, I'm going to be purchasing more personally.
So, what about just the adoption of WorldCoin? Like, I know for me myself, when we started talking about this, I downloaded the app, I threw in some money on the app, super easy. Like I was telling you yesterday, easiest crypto buying experience I've ever had. Are we seeing people come online to this WorldCoin ecosystem? Is it kind of just a dormant network? Like I know they're trying to pay people to do the orb. I think JC and some other guys got their retinas scanned, but are we seeing any sort of adoption, especially accelerating, right? Like we want to see exponential growth in the network. Are we seeing that?
Yeah, so there are currently 16 million verified humans on the network. Over the past week, they've done something like 70,000 verifications a day. So they're ramping. I mean, if you go on world.com and kind of like go through the website, and they have charts for all of their stats, and every single chart is up and to the right for a year and a half. I mean,
Wow.
like there is no give back. There is just up and to the right.
Hmm.
I suspect that that is a trend that is going to speed up. I
Yeah.
don't suspect that it's going to slow down. And yeah, they're paying something like $60 in WLD to every verified person. And then obviously that money can be invested. You can lock it away and earn. You can spend it in the network. There's lots of ways that you can utilize it.
It's so fascinating. And I want to go to Apple next, but before we transition into that, I'm kind of disappointed in Apple because they seem to continue to have these lackluster events when they're talking about new products, the WWDC, all this stuff. But it was interesting. It seemed like everyone's sentiment across Twitter was like, okay, this is cool, another thin new iPhone, but like we didn't ask for another thin new iPhone. However, WorldCoin founder, World Company founder Sam Altman had a little bit different narrative. I don't know if he's hinting at potentially doing something OpenAI, WorldCoin, and Apple, but he kind of had praise for the new iPhone. Um, Apple did have a lackluster event though. We can see they had this beautiful publication toting its new Air phone, super thin. It's the thinnest ever, but again, like it doesn't seem like the street consumers are getting excited about these products that they're releasing. And like here's what they released just at a quick glance. The iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 and 17 Pro, AirPods Pro 3, Apple Watch Series 11, and then iPhone satellite service. Obviously, the satellite stuff is super interesting. We're talking about space stocks all the time. The only other thing I want to like tip my hat to is the live translations in those AirPods, that's going to have some ripple effects that I don't think we fully will be able to foresee.
I would,
How, like,
what's
go ahead.
I was gonna say what's really interesting, I live in the meme world, so I'm always looking for the next viral moment.
You're just looking for consumer sentiment, right? Like, just kind of like, what is the crowd thinking right now? What is the
Yeah, and the
zeitgeist of the
crowd
crowd?
in the meme world, translation was the big takeaway from that event. There was, almost instantly there was a meme coin called translation,
Mm,
and like the memes of like the word, the earbud, and then what it meant,
mhm.
were really funny. I saw some like super funny ones, and obviously it wasn't just like actual translation. It was either as like Zoomer like Zoomer words and then their meaning or whatever. There were just lots of memes out there today that were focused solely on
Which has
translation.
got to like that's got to be positive for
I
Apple,
think so.
right? If
Yeah.
people are kind of mocking it, making fun of it, bringing it to their attention, like
Yes.
we're in the attention economy, so any attention is good attention, I would think. Um,
Yeah, and it also is just like telling you what people are resonating with, right?
yeah.
Like for
They
better
want
or for
something new.
worse.
We want
Yeah.
something new that's going to catch our eye. That's going to be like, wow, that's cool.
Make our
Like,
lives better.
right. Yeah, we don't need our phones to continue to get slimmer and
Right.
continue to steal our attention. Um, for like the last, I don't know, month and a half, we've been talking about seasonality. And last week I kind of made a comment, what if we buck the trend? Well, we have been bucking the trend. The S&P 500 closed at an all-time high today. So far, September is, we're just continuing to mosey on higher. Do you see any shift in sentiment as far as kind of what people are talking about on social streams? It seems like it's kind of one of those markets where you could throw a dart at the S&P and you're probably going to find a ripper. Now, that is super fun if you're making money. It can also be devastating in terms of building poor risk management habits because it's easy. Are you seeing anything different? To me, looking at this S&P chart, like we're going to keep going.
It does
We're
appear that
trading at
way.
all-time highs. We got nothing but blue sky ahead of us.
It That chart looks like a very slow burn higher.
Mhm.
It doesn't look euphoric. It doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look degenerate. It just looks like a slow grind higher. In my world, I operate on kind of, for the most part, really short time frames. Coins come and go, they live and die very quickly. So it's a little bit different of a world. Crypto as a whole, though, definitely was very fearful coming into this month. And rightfully so. I mean, history does say like
Well, it was,
things.
dude, it was fascinating because I feel like at the beginning of August, nobody was talking about seasonality.
Hmm,
And then like every single day that went on, every single week that we changed over, like getting closer and closer to September, it was like, no, the market can't go any higher than it is right now. Like it's been going up like crazy. September's gonna have to be a down month. Like this just isn't gonna work because we're just crushing it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the market likes to do the opposite of whatever the group thinks.
That's right. That's right. All right, so I want to move on to flying cars because
Yes.
Joby announced today that it's teaming up with Uber for its air taxi services. Now, this isn't going to go into effect until 2026 and after Joby receives FAA certification for its eVTOL aircraft. Still no date set as far as when that occurs.
Is there
We
any
per
concern that they won't? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think it's a concern that they won't. I think it's the biggest concern, the biggest risk is how long will it take?
Hmm,
Because the
okay.
FAA has actually been pretty forward with working with these eVTOL companies and putting that legislation, or excuse me, not legislation, regulation into play. Like they know this is where it's going. The FAA is welcoming eVTOLs. They actually put out a beautiful like kind of eVTOL overview. I want to say it was December of last year, as far as like what the process is going to look like and all that stuff. But as far as timelines and dates goes, anytime you're dealing with aviation regulation, it's just going to take a long time. The biggest thing that I'm watching for, though, Jason, there's two events where Joby's going to be supposedly debuting and distributing or displaying its eVTOLs. Osaka at the World Expo in the beginning of October. I think it's like October 2nd through 13th. It's going to be doing some test flights. I'm really curious, are they going to be autonomous flights? Is it going to be like a company pilot? Are they going to let anybody ride in the demonstration flights? But then in Dubai, they're talking that they're going to have commercial service up and running before the end of the year. Now,
Hmm.
what's interesting with Dubai is they're in a different jurisdiction than the FAA. So they can kind of make the rules, make the approvals as they see fit. So in my mind, if we're going to see commercial service anywhere in the world this year, it's going to be in Dubai.
Hmm.
But I have some. What's been really interesting is Joby and Blade have a history. So I was chatting with the good old Chat GPT here, and it says here's a clean breakdown of Joby Aviation and Uber's relationship over time. So in 2019, Uber and Joby formed a partnership to develop urban air mobility services. 2020, Joby acquires Uber Elevate, which was Uber's air taxi division at the time, and invests 75 million, and Uber invested 75 million into Joby as a part of the deal.
Hmm.
In August this year, Joby acquired Blade's air mobility passenger business, and Uber announced Blade flights will be integrating into its app by 2026. So there's a lot kind of moving. I'd be really curious to kind of be the fly on the wall in some of these discussions as to how these deals are going down, because between Blade, Joby, and Uber, there's like this cohort that seems to be working together to try and figure out this whole air taxi infrastructure.
What's the story with Blade? Give me the Cliffs Notes.
So Blade, they spun off and they sold their air passenger business to Joby.
Hmm.
Currently, they're just going to be doing medical services. The medical business for them appears to be going strong, so they wanted to keep that. But as far as, taking somebody from Manhattan to Montauk, Manhattan to the Hamptons, that's going to be
Joby.
that's going to be with Joby. So the really interesting thing prior to August, when Blade, I'm sorry, when Uber made Blade made this announcement. The CEO of Blade was talking about the consequences of eVTOLs and how their business will be completely transformed because eVTOLs allow them to open up to so many additional markets. Because these vehicles are silent, they can get into neighborhoods. They can get into areas that don't have noise ordinances. They don't have to be limited to the traditional helipads that like a helicopter with Blade would have to operate under. So what it means for air travel and air transportation is going to look very different. So all these heuristics are super fascinating. And then we got a beautiful little announcement from Jetson, and they make these little personal flying vehicles. I don't even know if you want to call it a flying car, but Palmer Luckey, the founder of Anduril, received and took delivery on the Jetson 1. There's an awesome video on Twitter. I would highly recommend you guys go check it out. But like this is here. This is happening. And like this isn't necessarily take me to the airport yet, but
To me, man, this is what makes people dream. Like seeing that and watching that video of Palmer, it makes it very real. It makes it
very
like,
real.
wow, how much fun would that be to like jump in that thing and go
Do anything.
do anything? Yes. I mean, insane. Totally insane. I think this is the coolest. I've been seeing videos of this for, I don't know, what, maybe like 2 years or so, a year and a half. I don't know how long they've been kind of like actually in production, but this thing inspires me more than anything that I've seen in the flying car space because this just seems so like, yes, that looks like so much fun. So much fun.
Well,
And what, he learned how
think
to fly it in 45 minutes, right?
yeah. Think about like you and your buddies getting in one of these things and just like ripping up into the mountains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's exactly what
It
I'm
would be
saying.
it would be such a hoot. So I'm
It's
super
so
excited
epic.
to see like deliveries being taken and like people, civilians getting into vehicles and playing with this stuff. I mean, I know you're saying like this is what is exciting, but like the thing that excites me the most, Jason, is that like people are eager
Yeah,
to play with this. Like we're not
sure.
scared of it. They want to adopt it. They want to lean into it. So
Do you think
what a time to be alive.
I saw that the price point on these was like 126K. Do you think that they're gonna offer more affordable models?
Probably at some point, I would think, you know, I would be curious to look at Tesla's pricing on their
Mm,
EVs from when they started selling out the gate, with
yeah.
their very first, what was it, the Roadster model that they sold first? With
Mm,
their very first model and see how the price comes down. Um, as far as what affordable goes for in a flying car, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be much less than 50 grand. Probably in 20 years it'll be, but
yeah.
what is affordable when you're talking about new cutting edge technology? Like it's always going to be more expensive in the beginning, and eventually price parity is going to pull it down. Last thing I want to touch about today, though, is Tesla, because autonomous driving obviously is a huge trend that I'm keeping an eye on. Tesla is a stock that feels like it's absolutely ready to pop. We've been talking about the acceleration of its robo-taxi operation in Austin and in the Bay Area. And taking a look at this chart, last week we got a nice little gap up, and we haven't really done a whole lot since. Jason, we've been talking about Tesla kind of behind closed doors and just frustrated with how this name trades because it really just tries to shake everybody out. When everybody thinks it's about to break out, it'll flush. When everybody's expecting a flush, it just rips in our face. My kind of tactical approach to it is just kind of start accumulating and waiting for the breakout, and I can add in after that breakout. I don't mind paying a higher price. How do you feel about Tesla's trading right now? Is it kind of tickling any of your fancy as far as like spidey senses, or do you think this do you think this is time to go?
I don't think it's time.
You don't think it's time?
I think they're gonna keep on messing with us. I think they're gonna go for those June highs or May highs. I think they're gonna do that soon. And I anticipate that they'll do that and then they'll fade again.
Hmm.
They'll make everybody think that they're gonna take those highs and that's it. Like, all right, got those highs, let's go. New all-time
Hmm.
highs. But I think it's more likely that they'll sweep liquidity up there and then they'll come back in to this gigantic 4 or 5 month base that they've been building and they'll take out some of those swing lows. Not all of them. I don't think you're going back to like the June low, but somewhere back into the base. And then I think you get the actual rally.
Yeah. Well, I was talking on the morning show with Spencer. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when this thing goes, they gap it up like 10% and make it almost impossible for everyone to chase because they
Yeah.
just they just send it.
He'll, I, Elon has to, he knows what's going on here. He sees this. Like, who
Do
knows,
you think
man?
he's a technician?
I,
You think he understands technical analysis, price behavior?
I bet he's got some, yeah, I bet he's got a decent
He has
understanding of
to.
it.
He
He's too
has
smart
to.
not to have some understanding of it. He
Well,
probably
and
thinks about it a lot differently than we do, but I'm sure he looks at that and like something registers to him.
something definitely registers to him.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at his compensation package that they approved
A
last
trillion
week,
dollars? $1 trillion? Is that right?
I think it's two. Um, dude, if I'm
Larry
him,
Ellison,
no,
he's
but
coming back.
Jason,
Coming
Jason,
for you.
I don't want to cut us off too short, but before we hop, I just want to say this. Like, he's thinking about not what can I do with $2 trillion
Oh,
here on Earth. He's thinking about how many trips to Mars does
yeah.
$2 trillion get me?
Yeah, sure.
You
Of
know
course.
that's what motivates him. So he's
Yeah,
going to do everything in his power to make sure that they hit every single one of those KPIs.
sure. Yeah,
So
no doubt.
I don't know how many trips to Mars $2 trillion will get you, but I'm sure we'll find out.
He'll find a way. I mean, he'll turn that 2 trillion into 10, like
Probably. Probably.
eventually.
All right, Jason, that's all we got for today. If you guys enjoyed today's program, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button on Stock Market TV. We have some of the best folks in the business on here every single day talking markets. If you want more on Godspeed, please check out godspeed.today. Feel free to subscribe to the newsletter. I put out anywhere from 3 to 5 posts a week. I just absolutely love looking at this new technology. And frankly, we're in some sort of paradigm shift. Now's the time. Jason, thank you again for joining us. I'm sure you'll be back soon. Keep an eye on the WorldCoin, and please don't hesitate to drop us any information that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to hanging out IRL this weekend.
That's right. We'll be in Toronto next week.
This weekend?
Well, this week and early next week, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing.
Semantics. All right, Jason, it'll be good. Safe travels up north, and I will see you soon.
Yeah, likewise.